When I think about the different worldviews that exist, I can't help but always think about it in my own personal context, because that's what I'm trying to communicate. If you're listening to me and watching this, you know that your desire probably is to communicate the gospel to the people in your context. So I think it was important for me to understand in Southern California, when I was being raised in Southern California, the real competing context was not so much maybe pantheism or other isms, as much as it was a really deep-rooted secular kind of naturalism, which I embraced until I was 35. And another ism that is probably ignored at our own peril, and that is apatheism, right? Because that's a lot of what I saw, I still see, in a culture that is just enthralled with entertainment, distracted by things they can do, and really have no interest in some ways. You know, when we first started working with students, we would develop these missions trips for them. And one was to Salt Lake City, which was not hard to engage people in Salt Lake City. Their worldview is such that they saw us as the lost people group. So they were very willing to talk about Christian theism versus Mormon theism. But when we started to go to Berkeley to talk to young people on the campus of UC Berkeley, that was very different. I will tell you that apathy was the biggest thing we saw. It wasn't that, it's like nobody wanted to talk about it because they weren't interested in it. I think sometimes we underestimate the power of either naturalism, the idea that nothing supernatural exists, that everything can be explained with just space, time, matter, physics and chemistry, and apathy, which is that it doesn't really matter anyway. None of these worldviews matter. It's time for us to, I think, add two whys to every what in every conversation we have. So typically we would give it a what. What is true about Christianity? What is true about God? What is true about Jesus? That won't necessarily overcome someone's apathy. But if we can add the two whys, well, why is this true about Jesus? Why is this true about God? Why is this true about Scripture? That's the first why. And the second one might be even more important. Why should this matter to me? Why should I care? That second why is going to, look, as much as people might think they're apathetic about the things of God, it turns out they are very interested, number one, in living longer. Have you ever thought about that? We all have a desire to live to 90 rather than 60. Actually, we could live to 120. We'd live to 100. We could live to 1,000. We'd rather live to 1,000. We all yearn for and seek eternity in one way or the other, even if it's just how long can we live on this side of the grave. We are interested in eternity. We also struggle with purpose and meaning. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? This is my best life. These are things that people struggle with. And it turns out the Christian worldview has answers for those things. I think sometimes apathy we meet, which I think is the biggest competing worldview, at least where I am in Southern California, with Christianity, is just apatheism. I'm just calling it that like everybody else. But I think the biggest thing we can do to overcome that is simply show people the two whys. Why is this true, and why does it matter to me in the first place?